Ramble.
Hey, TryPod listeners, so you may have heard of MeUndies before. They're on pretty much every podcast ever, but besides that, MeUndies makes the world's most soft and sustainable underwear, and they're literally designed for comfort and self-expression. So whether you opt for solid black or a unicorn print like myself, you'll do it all as comfortable as a cuddly little kitty.
You know, it's so funny. So we got these MeUndies. It showed up in my door. I was like, there's my MeUndies bag. And I picked it up and I was like, And then I noticed that my mail had been tampered and somebody had stolen all of the underwear out of the bag. Literally, this stuff is so good. Somebody committed a felony. But of course, the story ends good. I got my underwear at the end of the day. And I do have my underwear. Becky and I have matching red panda underwear, which is hilarious. And no matter what you choose, you get soft, sustainable pair of underwear delivered straight to your door with free shipping. It's a win-win all around. MeUndies has a great offer for all you listeners out there. MeUndies.com/tryguys. You get 15% off your first order. You get free shipping. You get 100% satisfaction guarantee. That's MeUndies.com/tryguys. It's a no-brainer.
MeUndies.com/tryguys.
Thank you to Best Fiends, Honey, MeUndies, and Purple Mattresses for sponsoring today's episode.
Welcome to the TryPod. It's late April and we're still in our houses. It's an exciting time though because we have a great podcast for you. We appreciate you guys listening to all the bonus episodes that we've been doing. We unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, have some other things that are taking some more of our time, so we're back to one a week, but we had a great time in April, didn't we, y'all? Well, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's been happening. There's aliens. That's spooky. Eugene might have an interest in video games now because what is life anymore? And there's general updates abound. You got your 4 favorite boys and also Miles. What's everybody feeling like?
We put together, oh my God, my sound is so my microphone broke this morning and now I sound very sultry. And if you're watching on YouTube, I have a blue piece of tape that is taping my microphone together, but I'm hearing it in my headphones and I just sound deep and sensual.
You sound different even to me over the video chat.
Well, that's because I'm talking lower, but
oh, maybe it's adding the gain to it. I see.
Yeah. I kind of like it better. I like it.
Yeah, just something like James Earl Jones.
Wow,
I'm kind of into it.
Wow, all right, I'll do the entire podcast like this.
I'm not into it anymore.
Oh, all right. Are you sure, Eugene? Are you sure?
Maybe it's hijinks like that got this podcast nominated for a Webby.
Oh!
Hey! So thank you to everyone who's been voting. You can check out the link both on YouTube community and our social media. And also a big shout out to Miles for being such a great podcast gremlin. Meows for Miles. Meows. Meow. Meow, 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 meow.
I'll tell you.
Very proud.
I want the Webby. The Webby is like the third in the main digital awards, and it's the one that we don't got, and it's the coolest looking trophy. It's like a spring, and it looks really fun to play with, and I want to play with that award, you know?
And it normally goes to like, you know, like bigger companies, you know? Like we're nominated against Will Ferrell.
Yeah, the lineup is crazy stacked.
Yeah, it's odd that we're there. But you know, we're happy. We're happy to make it up there with the full official Anchorman podcast and also the TryPod. You know, I something that we were talking a lot of stuff right before we started. We kept almost having wonderful conversations, but we saved them. We saved them for you, for the listeners. But perhaps the most interesting one to us in our dynamic is that Eugene was asking us for video game advice. Now, if you don't know, if somehow Eugene never had a console. His mom told him that video games would give him thumb cancer, so he was never allowed to play. So he has no context for what kind of game he even would want to play. So what are the things we should suggest to Eugene, guys?
Well, Eugene, what sort of genres do you like when it comes to movies, TV?
I should clarify Keith's anecdote that the reason my mom said that, in case you don't know, is because she was concerned, based on other Asian friends' children, that I would become a nerd. Joke's on her. Happened anyways. But yeah, so
I would dare say you're even nerdier about a lot of things than.
Oh, I think I over nerded in other categories because I did not get to play any video games. I had to sneak to my friends' houses to play, what was it, N64, like GoldenEye.
Wow.
First time I played
Oh,
Mario
so you did
Kart.
play GoldenEye.
Poorly. I just did the mode where you shoot each other, where there's no story and you can do a big head.
Yeah.
And I always played the sexy lady. I guess I always play the sexy lady. But yeah,
Natalia?
Genres, yes. Or no, Xenia on the top. The lady who crushes men with her thighs.
Yes. I'm familiar.
Yes. Ned, to your question, you said, what would I be interested in? Well, first and foremost, what console should I get? Is it the console do I get because I want a certain game or games? Or do I get a certain console because the console's better, has better control system?
Okay, so this is a great question.
I'm so in the dark.
All consoles except for the Switch are all about how beautiful they are, how cool the games are, how interactive, how the multiplayer works, how sharp,
photorealistic.
Yeah,
It's
realistic.
like a graphics arms race, and you got PS4 and you got Xbox One.
Well, and you got the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X if you nasty.
And you got PC gaming.
Yes,
Eugene ain't nasty
there's
like that.
Fancy versions of each of them. Let's talk basics. PlayStation, Xbox.
I like the
twice as
fancy
many
version.
PlayStation users as Xbox with the newest systems. So that's something to keep in mind.
The Switch, Nintendo has always been about, and actually their mission statement is about fun and playing together. And the games are a lot less advanced in their graphics and stuff like that, but they're way more fun, silly, heartwarming, goofy. Like Pokemon is on Nintendo, that and Mario is on Nintendo. Everything about Nintendo has always been about how fun it looks, how inviting it is to just play. And also Nintendo has a hilarious reputation for the worst controllers ever designed, which is just a fun fact. Now their Switch controller is actually the most normal they've ever had, and it still is not a normal controller.
So Keith, you're championing Nintendo.
I've always been a Nintendo boy, and I've always been a Nintendo handheld boy. I had all the Game Boys, Game Boy Advance, DS, and that came from my brothers had the real system, and they were playing too often for me to get a chance to play. So my parents got me my own little system that I could play by myself. So then I decided I would only play those types of consoles, which meant I also only played Nintendo games by yourself, which are side-scrollers and RPGs.
Do we have a champion to represent Xbox?
I mean, I know you're trying to put us into different boxes here, but
Everyone
Eugene,
here
you
likes
should
Nintendo?
obviously get a Switch. You are gonna get wrecked if you play Call of Duty Warzone on PlayStation. Just don't even bother with an Xbox or a PS4.
Yeah.
They're great. I have a PS4. I love it. That's what I mostly play. But for you should definitely get a Switch.
If you want a game in 4K, you're going to want to get a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X. But I imagine that you don't need the frame rate or the 4K, 8K games with ray tracing. I think you're going to want to play
But guys,
Pokemon.
here's the problem. He can't get a Switch right now. They are on super duper back order because everyone's like, I need something to occupy my time. I got to get my Animal Crossing on. You can't do it.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sold out again.
Yeah, they're on super back order. People, I know someone who bought one, paid, went on the portal, bought one, and then they sent them an email and it was like, you will receive it in 4 to 6 months.
Oh, shit. Jesus.
What's Final Fantasy on?
Oh, PS4 primarily, but
okay.
they have all the old Final Fantasy games on Switch, so you can play the original ones. But if you want to play the new one, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which Daddy's playing right now, it's on PS4, and it's beautiful, and they're so hot.
Let's not tether you to reality here, Eugene. Let's break out because you are a blank slate here. You don't even know the video games. You know the Pokemon, but beyond that, if you could design a game, what is the game that you want to inhabit? Don't say, oh, I want to play the new Mario. Just tell me the features. Tell me the look. Tell me the vibe.
It's set in a high school, but you're a basketball player and you really like a girl who's into musicals.
This high school
So you have to try out for the musical, but also playing the championship game. What's that for?
Like a NBA 2K meets DDR type of...
Exactly, yeah. Out of like personal curiosity, because my interests that are adjacent to games are like, I watch tons of anime and I'm super into things like, I mean, I know the Final Fantasy stories because I like what they're about, but I don't play them. Like I know all the Cloud stuff. I watched all the Advent Children movies, but yeah, I think the fantasy role playing, every time someone talks about Ocarina of Time or Zelda, I'm like, ooh, that sounds cool. Because I do love all the Mario stuff, clearly, and the Pokemon stuff. But every time I actually play it, and you've played Mario Kart with me, I get kind of bored. Like I start, like I can't sit for hours and do the same thing. So I think I need something that has, what do you call it? Running around in the world,
Open world.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so
Open
you
world?
need you need a narrative and a story.
Yeah.
And
I
you
want a
need,
story.
Like, the fantasy element.
I like the
man.
fantasy element.
Oh, this is so exciting. Yeah.
I want someone who was like the long lost love who died.
I want to interject and say that I had to look it up to make sure, but there is High School Musical, the movie 3, Dance, the video game, and it is a DDR based game that's only in the world of High School Musical that I had on Wii.
The high school isn't a fantasy open world, and all the characters are like, centaurs. So the centaur plays basketball, but also wants to dance.
Oh, so Eugene, you're not talking about first-person shooters. You're not talking about like cartoon games. You're talking about like The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Or like Skyrim, Final
Overwatch.
Fantasy. Just like beautiful, immersive games that take you on an adventure that you can explore the world and do anything. And if you set the difficulty easy enough, I think you'll be able to...
Really? That's what I'm worried about.
Enjoy walking around.
Yeah.
No, they always have a super easy mode where you basically... it's called like story mode, where you hardly ever die. And it's mostly about watching all the cutscenes and taking advantage of the story.
I know I make fun of y'all for Magic the Gathering, but I do like the concept, the worlds. I don't like sitting and playing cards, but I like all the fantasy story
You like the genre.
elements. Yeah, I like the genre.
Well, maybe PlayStation's for you then. I take it back.
PlayStation has a lot of like JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games, which
Tell me more.
There's a lot like Final Fantasy's on there, but there's all the games that are really popular in Japan. So it'll be like, oh, the gameplay's really good, but then everyone's super hot and they're all like sucking face.
So that's your favorite. That's your favorite, Miles.
That is markedly not my favorite. I will say that I do like all those games.
Appreciate the contribution.
There's a funny thing about like Japanese role-playing games where like people will be like, oh man, like the gameplay is really cool, and then like you'll play it and there'll be like a horny teacher character, and it's like, I don't know that I should be playing this.
I found out last night about this. They just made a Predator game where it's battle royale style, like Fortnite, where you drop in, but one of you is the predator. So you're super powered and you're trying to hunt down the rest of the people. And then everyone else is a team trying to hunt you.
Oh.
That sounds super dope.
Wow.
Awesome.
Well, speaking of aliens, don't we have some news about aliens?
I got a bone to pick with this alien news. This is a video that's been out for a year and a half. I've seen this video a million times. So everyone's like, oh, they released it. It's like, yeah, they fucking talked about it before. I think they're just trying to make us think about aliens more and not about the other pressing issue that's happening now. Like, oh, but remember, actually, there's aliens.
I actually saw it as the opposite. So the backstory is the Pentagon declassified footage. And so this is footage that had leaked. But what was big about this is that the Pentagon said, hey, this is our secret files. We are releasing it to the public, which is an acknowledgement that this is real footage that they captured, which I don't think was necessarily up for debate. But what was so funny about this is that everyone's like, yeah, all right. I think releasing it right now is such a perfect way for everyone to be like, we don't have time to care about aliens. I don't care right now. And I think that there's something so funny of like, growing up in all the movies, we always thought like, oh my God, once we see this video proof, we're all gonna like be like, oh my God, it's a life-shattering thing. We all made a joke on Twitter and went on with the rest of our fucking day. I think even if we had footage that was like definitive, like some dude coming out of a ship with 7 legs and like, we'd all be like, oh, that's crazy. Well, what's for lunch?
Yeah. until the mothership has hovered over New York City, about to blast it with a photon gun. I'll kind of just retweet and move on.
Wait, have any of y'all seen a UFO?
No, I just remember were you guys
wish.
there when we were, I don't know if we were at Disney or somewhere, and there was this really bizarre beam of light that was just in the sky. And I remember all of us stopped and we looked at it like, what the fuck is that? And then the next day they were like, there was some testing happening. SpaceX was doing testing. And we're like, what? That's not what I've never seen that.
It was very weird. We were walking through, like Disney, and it was just a giant, basically a spotlight in the sky.
Yeah.
And people would like kind of glance at it and then keep moving. I think people are so resistant to be the one that's like, is that weird? Because you don't want to look stupid and be called out as stupid. Whereas we were like, guys, that's really weird looking,
That's
right?
There's no Disneyland right now. The other day I was sitting and there was like the word Disneyland was in the background of somebody's video, and I was like, oh, Disneyland. It can't go to Disneyland right now.
So sad.
I want to go on a roller coaster.
I got really sad this week because my birthday's coming up in June, and when I thought about having a birthday, and it's my 33rd birthday, which is a pretty big one. There's at least a reason to make it big because there's 2 3s in it. And I was just sad that I couldn't really do anything for my birthday, like go to Disneyland or have a big party or even just go to a restaurant.
I'm with you, Ned. I'm with you. I'm in the same place.
Your birthday's in June too, Keith.
Yeah.
So's Becky's.
Your birthday?
And Becky's is in May. And she's turning 30. That's
man,
an
that's
actual
a big one.
big one. And
what to do about it? Should
we were gonna have
throw the internet a big birthday party.
I know we had been talking about Becky's 30th for like a year, and that we were gonna basically throw like one last college party, and we were gonna get like a keg, and we were gonna make Jello shots, and we were gonna like rent a house, and we were gonna put bags in the backyard, put beer pong in one room, put flip cup, and it was just going to be one last party like you're in your 20s, one last big stupid party. And
You guys know that I was ramping up to do our long-awaited Zach Gets Bar Mitzvahed for my 30th birthday. I never had a bar mitzvah as a kid. Mine's in July, and I was going to throw like a big bar mitzvah where you have the tables, the theme tables and the dancers and the whole thing. Maybe we'll do it in the future.
Eugene, you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking about all the things I'm buying online all the time, especially now, right? Like right now is a time where there's lots of online shopping. But there is something that can make online shopping even better, and it's Honey. Honey is a free online shopping tool that saves you money online. I'm sure you have heard of it before. It's this amazing plugin that just searches the internet for all the promo codes that apply to what you're buying at that moment. Let me just describe how it works for you. You're shopping on one of your favorite sites, and when you check out, this little box drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds, it scans the internet, and it applies coupons.
Wow, that's crazy. Why doesn't everyone have it? It sounds like a no-brainer.
I've been able to use it. I'm always shopping on Amazon, and we also shop on like eBay. I was scouring some Pokemon cards the other week. I've probably saved hundreds of dollars like here and there, which is just awesome, and it makes you feel great. Honey has found its over 18 million members, over $2 billion in savings. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money, free cash, baby. It's free to use. It installs in just a few seconds, and it's backed by PayPal, so you know it's good. It's legit, baby. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tryguys. That's joinhoney.com/tryguys.
Eugene, you were nodding before we went on a birthday tangent. Have you seen a UFO?
Oh, yes. I've seen a UFO. I saw one for sure, because it not only zigged, it zagged. It zigged and then zagged. So I was lying on my back for some reason.
How old? I'm guessing in Texas.
Yeah, I was 16. And then I was looking at the sky, and I think I was either on my roof for some reason. I had a weird... That's the whole tangent I shouldn't say. I'm not going to go into that tangent.
You liked being on your roof as a kid.
Yeah, sometimes I go on my roof.
I think I know.
Yeah, during storms, I'd be like, where's the weirdest place I can do this? And so I was on my roof.
What?
I was on my
just
roof.
Breeze by. Please breeze by.
I was on my roof and not doing that, and I was looking at the stars, and though I think on this one actually, I think my sister was with me. But this was because we were just hanging out. No, this all went off the rails.
Stop adding
Just me
details.
on the roof.
Tell us about the UFO.
And I'm looking at the stars, and then I explicitly see this weird, like, circular blue, like a light cyan, moving through the stars, and it slowed down, which was so weird because I was like, that's a weird aircraft. And it slowed, and then it stopped, and then it quickly shot this way, like the bottom of a Z, and then it stopped, and then it shot that way. And everything about it, I just remember saying every type of movement that it was exhibiting was not of this earth. It just was not. What? It was definitely a UFO.
Whoa.
Did your sister see it?
Yes. Whoever was with me saw it, and I can't remember now if it was my sister or my friend or my imaginary friend.
Well, of course, you wouldn't really have a clear memory because they came down and wiped it.
Yeah. No, but I swear that I for sure saw it.
Where was the nearest Air Force base to your hometown?
Ned, are you about to poo-poo our dreams and say that all alien stuff is just the government testing futuristic
No,
flight?
I'm saying that they, of course, would have put a secret research station to investigate the not just
He's
singular
on board.
appearance, but recurrent alien scouting excursions.
Oh, so you think they put Air Force bases near where alien activity's going on so that we could get to the bottom of the truth,
Yes.
man?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, no, I don't think that, but I am trying to humor this general conversation by being on board with it.
You're partway on board. I'm not talking about Geminis right now.
Yeah, he's talking about the stars, but not astrology. Guys, I was so unbelievably obsessed with aliens as a kid. I don't think you know this about me, but I would go to the library weekly and just check out books on aliens. Like that alien meme guy, if I saw that as a kid, I would have eaten that shit up. And now looking back is what a total waste of time that I could have been expanding my brain in the library. But, whatever makes you read as a kid. And I would have
reading
these super vivid dreams and try and convince myself that I made an alien best friend. I just wanted to live out ET. That's all I wanted.
I want to just touch on the whatever makes you read as a kid and quickly tie it back to video games. The reason I think that, no, it's true. When you play role-playing games, classic RPGs are incredibly dense text reading, and also you have to talk to every character. You have to put pieces of story together out of order and figure out what you have to do, and it creates a lot of logical reasoning skills and incredible reading comprehension because sometimes, because some of them are made in Japan, the translations were wrong, and you'd have to figure out what this sentence was actually saying. Very occasionally, be like, "This doesn't make any sense." Like, "Oh, he means that." Oh, no wonder I couldn't figure it out. But it created really good reading comprehension, logic, understanding, problem solving, puzzle solving. That's one of the best things. Whenever they're like, kids shouldn't play video games, I'm like, that is crazy. There's so much you can learn through video games because they actually engage you in different ways. And most of the time in those old games, you're reading like 3 paragraphs per character and trying to remember it all.
Especially real-time strategy games. I mean, you guys know I've been getting back into Age of Empires 2, the Turn of the Millennium Classic right now. But, Age of Empires, StarCraft. Oh, yeah, I definitely have been. Age of Empires has the, historical element where you learn stuff about history, but also real-time strategy games as a genre, you are basically, multitasking, micromanaging, adjusting a bunch of different schedules and balancing timelines. You're basically learning operations.
Wasn't the footage from a Blink-182 member?
Yeah, so Tom DeLonge leaked the footage initially, and then the Pentagon was like, wait, just kidding, that was ours.
Because he's an alien hunter, right? He hunts aliens, but friendly hunting.
He owns something called To the Stars Academy, and To the Stars Academy is a thing that he made that he was like, aliens are real. I want to put all this money. There's an article from this website that says Tom DeLonge quit the pop punk band over 2 years ago in order to put more manpower into his UFO stuff. So he's just doing UFO stuff now. He's not singing anymore.
That's the reason we don't have new Blink-182 songs? Kind of sad.
Yeah. Aliens.
I think that's so admirable in a weird way. Like he's like, you know what I love? Aliens. I'm gonna stop doing this like clearly successful music career and go fucking start an alien company.
It's so funny too, because like I adore aliens. I would love to find out that there's life out there, but it's such a bottomless pursuit where it's like you are going to be sinking hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, endless hours of your time to basically just prove, see, like there's nothing at the end of that rainbow. There's no version where you're paid back. And then if you prove it, it's just like, what now? You just have shown that like, aha, see, I was right.
No, you can go to the alien planet and freaking hang out with alien babes. What do you mean there's no gold at the end of the rainbow? Come on.
Tom is number one on the alien VIP.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thought isn't just that there's some UFO, unidentified flying object, but that there's maybe some sort of like classified communication where like aliens have actually talked to, scientists or military people or something.
We've talked alternate career from childhood, but what's your Tom move? I'm going to quit everything I'm doing right now to invest in this one passion that no one's going to believe in. Like, what's your alien hunter business?
I mean, I don't know about no one believing in it, but I might like just like really work towards clean energy. But what's my like?
You're crazy, weird. Ned. It'll never work.
Unheard of.
This guy's out of his fucking mind. He thinks the semiconductor cars. What an idiot!
Conspiracy.
I don't have a conspiracy. I do want to help resurge the popularity of arcades someday. Loved arcades growing up. They were such a big part. Like, right? Like, every mall you went to back in the 90s, there was an arcade and it was dope. And my mom would be like, okay, we'll meet back here in an hour and a half. And I would go to the toy store for 5 minutes. I'd go sit in a Brookstone for 5 minutes and get a free massage. And then I'd go spend the rest of my time in an arcade playing Dance Dance Revolution, trying to get tickets, trying to win stuff, trying to play skee ball. I just loved arcades, and they've dwindled, and now they're only in like Dave and Buster's situations, and that's stupid. Because it costs too much money. You don't know how much you're spending because they give you arbitrary point values to your dollar, and then suddenly you don't realize you just paid $1.50 to play Pac-Man, and that's mean. That's mean.
I think that's a fair critique of Dave and Buster's, but I will say the main innovation of loading up a bunch of money on a little swipe card, and giving you bonuses for if you drop $40 instead of $10,
right?
Brilliant.
It's interesting that you say that. It links back to our video game conversation because originally video games in general and home consoles were designed by like Atari and all that stuff to be like prohibitively hard. So that way you kept spending cash. But like now like home consoles are way better than most video games in arcades because they're just better. But there's one place, it's called 2-Bit Circus in LA, but there's some around there that are like VR arcades. Yeah. And that is so worth it. Totally worth it.
Really?
Yeah. There is also somewhere in LA, or it's on Vermont, somewhere Western, it's called Family Arcade. Mm-hmm. And it is a standalone mall arcade that's not in a mall, but you walk in, you're like, holy shit, this is a dope mall arcade. And it's like got so much pinball. It's got everything you wanted when you were a kid. It's got a Time Crisis machine. It's got a Guitar Hero area. It's got like skee ball in the back. It's got basketball. It's got everything. It's got a ticket counter.
Wait a second, Keith, haven't you, this is the perfect segue, you've been making your own arcade in your home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want to hear about it.
Well,
you just sent us this cryptic text message.
I've only just begun, but I have decided that I am making a cardboard skee ball machine in my house.
What? Fucking awesome.
I looked up, I now, there are other people who have made cardboard skee ball machines, and also people who have made their own at home, like fully functional skee ball machines. And I just thought like, man, that'd be fun playing skee ball, right? And then I looked to see how much it costs to buy a skee ball machine. And there are some that are actually $250. I'm like, what? That's just cheap enough where I might do it. And it's an irresponsible choice because where will I put it?
How big is it?
It's like still 6 or 7 feet. It's like but it's like very cheaply made. It's like, you know, when you're like, go to your friend's house and they say that they have like a basketball like game, and then you go and it's really just like a plastic one with like a plastic net. You're like, well, that's kind of what I wanted. I guess it's pretty good. But there are some that are like $700, $800, it seemed pretty legit. But then the real ones in the arcade are like $3,000. So either way, no matter what, I can't keep this for more than a week because where will it go? So I'm just going to make one out of cardboard. And I've got those laundry balls like I used in the miniature golf course video that are just these light. They're just so light. And I think they could withstand like the brunt of being rolled and hitting cardboard. The cardboard won't break. So I've done the drawing out of the circles of the holes and like placed out the things. I've got enough cardboard to make the ramp. I've written out the design for like where the feet will be, how to get the balls to come back through. But honestly, at some point, it's just going to have to start cutting and taping. But I need some duct tape. I only have gaff tape. And gaff tape's too expensive to waste on this kind of thing. And also, it's not actually as strong as duct tape.
Looks like Ned's got some tape around his microphone. You could loan.
He's got painter's tape. I got extra. I'm not even going to pretend that that's strong enough for anything. Painter's tape is, I'm going to say it, the worst tape.
Whoa. It's designed to be flimsy and come off easily, but when you paint, that's what
somehow, like, when you're growing up, like, you have a lot of painter's tape in your house. You're like, well, I'll use this, and it's the shittiest tape. It's so bad. I would rather have Scotch tape. I'm building it, and I am like slightly filming it. I don't know if it'll go into a video. Maybe it'll just go on IGTV on our channel to explain how to make it. But it's really just I just need to make things, and we can't make as many videos as we need to make right now because we already have so many videos. We're pretty much shot through July, and at this point, if we make more stuff about quarantine, it might not be relatable. So I'm just making this for me. And Becky is allowing me to do it, and I'm just making it.
Keith, if there was a Black Mirror episode about a future arcade museum, you are definitely the guy who runs it. Like, when they walk in with a heavy mustache, that is the visual.
Suspenders.
I mean,
and he's so friendly in the beginning, but then it turns out he's harvesting children's souls in the back room. Where if you win the master prize, you come to the back room.
No, the games all have cameras that slowly absorb your soul as you play them, and then eventually you become a part of the game, and then you're trapped in each game. So when you go, there's there's new characters, but those are actually your friends.
That looks a lot like Rodney.
I mean, that feels like a classic Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. Would be exactly that.
Yeah, we pivoted away from Black Mirror real quick and went straight up Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Also, I would be much more of an Are You Afraid of the Dark villain because they're always like, well, hello, and welcome to my world of mystery.
Oh, you don't want that. You don't want the monkey paw.
Okay, in an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, I'm the innocent kid. Ned is my best friend who goes missing in the middle. And Eugene is like the neighbor across the street who I don't know, but then we become bonded through this experience and he ends up saving me.
Eugene used to have his friend Miles who disappeared 25 years ago in the same way. And then you go and you free him from my arcade cabinet of doom, which is probably is called Arcade of Doom. Yeah. And but at the end there's a twist and I'm not fully gone, but I'm maybe you trap me in the game. That's typically how they would end.
Oh, yeah.
Hey everyone, technology has improved just about everything. Phones, cars, shopping, yet mattresses have more or less been the same since the invention of sleep, but we deserve better. And finally, the mattress has evolved thanks to Purple. That's right, Purple, Keith.
I still sleep on a bag of hay, Eugene.
Try Purple, because the secret of Purple is the Purple Grid. It's a patented comfort technology that instantly adapts to your body's natural shape and sleep style. And Purple is for everybody, no matter how you sleep, including yours, Keith. It's designed with over 2,800 open air channels and naturally temperature neutral gel. You'll never sleep too hot or too cold, and I know that's important for you.
But this actually sounds perfect for me.
Yeah, it's comfortably cool over, it's soft where you want it, it's firm where you need it, and it's truly a mattress that does it all. You can count on resting easy night after night, year after year, because the ultra durable Purple Grid won't sink or lose shape. And Purple is so confident in what they do that every Purple mattress comes with free shipping and returns and a risk-free 100-night trial.
Experience the next evolution of sleep. Go to purple.com/tripod and use promo code TRIPOD. For a limited time, you'll get $150 off any Purple mattress order of $1,500 or more. That's purple.com/tripod, promo code TRIPOD for $150 off any mattress order of $1,500 or more. So basically that is 10%. Pretty good. Terms apply.
I got to pitch to y'all my Tom idea real quick. This is I'm quitting everything that I've ever dreamed of, and I want to invest in this.
We're doing a real cross-stitch pattern this
love this.
episode,
Yeah, we
where
come
we'll
back,
go
yeah.
2 steps forward, then you come back to thread it. This is a great time.
I want to create an organization that's like Westminster, but for like funny, shitty mutts. So it's basically an annual dog show where every dog is like a shelter adoptee, and just like they're like, the breed is, I don't know. And basically all the challenges though are basically which dog is the most like charming and funny. So it's like not actual skills, but it's just an excuse to like have this pomp and circumstance around just like wacky looking pups, you know, and just televise it, raise money for it. This is like Westminster, but instead of agility, it's more like which dog will get off the couch first, you know, like really.
It's like the personality contest of a beauty pageant, but for dogs.
Yeah, it's just miscongeniality for all the pups.
All of my millions I would devote to trying to just do Jurassic Park. Trying to like harvest
smart.
DNA from ancient bones and somehow recreate it and like create dinosaurs. That would be awesome.
I mean, I feel like we have the science for the most part to do that. Like, we have like cloning abilities. We have the ability to like dig up like old embryonic cells and like
all it needs is
put them in
a
new
wild
animals.
and crazy benefactor who's just rich enough and just crazy enough to make it work.
You'd be Dr. John Hammond.
Exactly. Yes.
I think Zach would then be Lex. You'd be one of the kids. Yeah, because you'd be like, I know the system. Keith would be Jeff Goldblum.
Wow, I had me pegged for Newman.
No. you have Goldblum-esque looks and height. He's a very tall man.
That's true.
I think Miles would be... Miles, who would you be in Jurassic Park?
Hold on to your butts.
You'd be Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I would love to be Samuel, and that's my one.
I'm guessing, Eugene, you want to be Laura Dern.
Of course.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He's Laura Dern.
Yeah.
Is this West
I want to be
Indian
Sam
Lilac?
O'Neill then. Let me be Sam O'Neill. Why can't I be Sam O'Neill? Come on, let me be Sam O'Neill.
I might be better as just a dinosaur. I might be the T-Rex. I feel like I'd be the one chasing you in the side view mirror. You know, like,
Hey, I'm gonna get you.
Hey.
Where you going? Come back.
Come to my arcade. I'll trap your soul.
Like one conspiracy theory that I do really like is the idea of the lost city of Atlantis.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's sexy.
That's so sexy. It's like this ancient civilization that was lost to time because the ocean swallowed it up.
Very believable. I mean, that probably really, that seems
Could happen.
like, yeah, there probably is several cities in the history of the world that have just been like flooded, and then like, they were built on more of a sandstone like structure, and it just eventually dissolved and drifted out to sea and sank.
In hundreds of thousands of years, people are gonna be like, the lost city of Miami.
Nuevo York.
The magical city of Miami.
Venice is already sinking, which is so sad.
Shout out to Venice. But all this really gives me a big old archaeology boner.
Yeah.
You guys ever look? You know the Disney movie Atlantis.
Yeah.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's in the 2000s, which is a dark period for Disney, where they just lost a lot of money and they weren't really producing 2D animated. But like Lilo and Stitch came from that era. Emperor's New Groove came from that era. It's like post Disney Renaissance.
Oh wait, I was thinking of Aquaman. No, I definitely haven't seen that movie.
The animated film Atlantis. Yeah,
Yeah.
that film's pretty dope. I mean, it's kind of underrated. It's very fun. I feel like you'd like it, Keith.
All I know about Atlantis is every time I hear it, I think of that one resort that's somewhere and there's a big water slide that goes under some sharks. And I remember seeing commercials for it as a kid and being like, well, that looks like the greatest hotel ever. It's like a Mayan
think that's in the
pyramid, which
Bahamas.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's got a slide that goes under an aquarium very briefly. And that's all they needed to advertise to kids. And it was always advertised on Nickelodeon because they're like, kids will totally bug their parents to go to
Also,
this
the
terrible
Disney
place.
World Hotel where the monorail comes into the lobby.
Crazy.
So
Oh,
cool.
There's something called Lotte World in Korea. So Lotte is like Korea's, I don't know, both 7-Eleven and Exxon, and it's just a huge company. But they have a theme park that essentially has a roller coaster. It's more common now in Vegas, but it was one of the first that was just like mostly indoors. So imagine that you're just like flying indoors right above the heads of people walking. So you're like hanging, and you're doing flips, and you're literally standing there in a huge building, just watching people's feet fly right over your head. Wow. It was like the coolest
Mall of America type stuff. I gotta say, I'm very much excited for, in a year and a half when like everything maybe is way more normal and we can go back to theme parks, because like arcades, theme parks just give you this like unbridled joy. Even now, as a fully like 33 almost year old man, when I'm like walking up to Disney, like I pick up my pace, right? I start walking a little faster. I gotta get the fuck in there. I gotta get in there. I gotta get in the line. I gotta go on a ride. It's gonna be so fun, and we're gonna get a churro, and I'm gonna see people taking pictures, and there's something so I don't know. It evokes that like childhood like excitement. The same with arcades. Like I always get excited anytime I go to do something that was super nostalgic and very like colorful and fun.
You know what? I've rediscovered a sense of childhood excitement recently. Because I have a kid, I've gone to more aquariums than I ever have in like 30 years. And they're awesome. I don't know why I've been sleeping on aquariums, but it's like, it's cool, it's dark, and there's these like, you can see like the fish swimming above you, or there's always one like giant pane where it's, a whole like floor to ceiling where you can see all the different types, and it's just so like different colors, different types of fish, and you learn about fish, and it's like everything under the ocean looks so different from everything on land. And I guess I never just sort of like, as I was an adult, I started thinking about my own small world. And when you go to an aquarium or any sort of like museum that shows animals from different places, you get this sense of expansive like wonder of the world.
I mean, we're talking about space. The ocean we haven't finished exploring, and there are mysteries untold down there. It genuinely feels like another planet. It's so
spooky,
endlessly fascinating and cool.
That's what James Cameron spent all his money on.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to create all these submersibles so I can go look at shit down there. I think the only reason I'm interested in the Avatar sequel, which like, when the fuck is it coming out, is that apparently a lot of it happens underwater. So I'm like, now you have my interest. Please change the font, but you do have my curiosity.
Yes.
I think a really good like Die Hard type movie, but set in an aquarium, could be thrilling. Like imagine if they're like shooting guns, and then like they're shooting guns to make a wall of water and sharks fall on the villains like that. How has there never been an action movie in an aquarium?
Okay, but it's animated, and it's actually a little fish against other big mean fish trying to
That seems like a real play. That seems like that's just one of the Finding Nemos almost.
Or honestly, if it was a Keanu Reeves film called The Aquarium, I would pay good money to see that.
Oh yeah. And there's one part where like he's stuck, and the way that he kills the bad guy is he shoots the glass, and then the shark comes out and eats him.
Yeah, and then the shark
shark's
dies.
Okay afterwards because they like put it back.
I want scenes where they're chasing each other in scuba gear as well. Yeah. Like maybe there's like a hidden fortune in this aquarium, and the bad guys don't know where it is. It might be in one of the shark tanks. It might be just behind the gift shop.
Keith, Keanu is actually because Keanu is one of the most giving celebrities out there. He is like a true gem. He works as a pacifist. He's like a ex-Marine, but then he now lives as someone who tends to the aquariums. Like he works there, like, eating the fish. And then when these people come to get whatever the jewel is that's hidden, they take the entire aquarium hostage. So it has like school children and moms and all that shit. And the only person they can depend on is the guy that like is cleaning the tank, in scuba gear. Of course, it's Keanu Reeves.
Air Force One, but instead of a plane, it's an aquarium. Instead of the president, it's Keanu Reeves.
Guys, between this and Drag Me to Hay, I wish we had like an animation budget where we could just cut trailers of these like fake movies, because we're like, these are dream movies that I think, in this day and age, anything goes. You have Netflix buying every single fucking idea under the sun, I'd watch The Aquarium with Keanu.
Hey, you want to see our crazy money losing ideas? Support the podcast. TryPod. Patreon.com/tryguys.
How many patrons will it take for us to make Drag Me to Brunch or Drag Me to Hay, whatever we're calling it?
I think we need probably 10,000. If we get to 10,000 patrons, we will make Drag Me to Brunch.
I don't know. I think we could only maybe afford a scene because queens are you gotta pay them.
Oh yeah,
it's good. I don't know, but maybe just a scene would be funny. I wish we could just cut the best TryPod movie ideas, film one scene of each one, and have that be like a film.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a target here, okay? We've got under 4,000 patrons. If we get to what? Is it going to take 10,000?
I think 10,000
Is that when we're going to do
$1 million.
20?
$1 million.
we need a mill.
All right, Ned's saying 10,000 patrons. If we cross that threshold, we will make at least a scene or animated excerpt from Drag Me.
Yes.
And The Aquarium.
Ooh, honestly, just Drag Me is actually a great title.
Yeah.
Drag me.
Oh, Drag Me to Hay.
Drag me to brunch. We all need a break now and then. Sometimes we're not sure what to do with the time that we have in our hands. I have found that games on my phone are amazing, and the one that I love the most is called Best Fiends. It is an oasis of fun you can take with you everywhere, and you can also enjoy it right in your own home. It is a challenging little puzzle game, but the best part is when you win, you get little characters, you get little slugs, you get all these little slugs you're playing against. Yeah,
I can get a little slug.
You get a little slug. Nobody's ever making hot slugs until this game. Best Fiends is full of hot slugs.
Best Fiends updates the game monthly with new levels and events, so it never gets old. And it treats the game like a service for their players. Best Fiends is a unique and exciting puzzle experience unlike other puzzle games out there. It does not require internet to play, which is amazing, so you don't need to worry about Wi-Fi access or using cell data.
Best Fiends has thousands of levels already, with new levels, events, and characters added every single month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips, and you can even play offline. With over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must-play. You can download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or on Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends.
Speaking of roller coasters, Zach, you've had a bit of a emotional roller coaster recently. If you wouldn't mind divulging some of what has happened in your life, we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is as hard a pivot as any, but I, over the past 2 weeks, have had one of the most difficult periods of my adult life, and I wanted to share about it, and frankly, the more questions you guys ask me about it, the more easier this is going to be. You may notice, if you're watching on video, that you're like, I've never seen this room in Zach's house, and that's because I'm not in my house. About a little over 2 weeks ago, Maggie woke up not feeling well. I should skip to the end and say that she is now 100% fine, back to health, but she tested positive for COVID-19. She is a healthcare worker. She doesn't work with COVID patients, and it's something that I've avoided talking about because I didn't want our fans to worry about me. I knew that if I talked about her being a nurse, I'm giggling at Ned's broken microphone. You gotta find moments of levity.
It's slowly drooping as you're talking, and I'm just trying to.
The microphone's getting sad.
I'm sorry. My
microphone.
microphone's like meow.
Oh, Zach. But I knew that people, our fans, would worry, and they would say, Zach, I should change also my Zoom name is Navi Zach, and I can't be talking about shit that popped up. So I knew that people would be worried and say, Zach, she's going out into the world. You're immunosuppressed. You should. But I also knew this is going to be going on for a long time. What, you want me to just leave for the next 8 months? I can't be apart from my girlfriend. So she woke up feeling very ill, and actually these were symptoms that weren't considered symptoms then, but they just updated them. So she woke up, terrible migraines, really bad chills, and immediately I was like, uh-oh, you stay in the bedroom, I have the living room. Because she's a healthcare worker, she filled out this survey that they give them every single night, and they scheduled her a test within hours. So I'm disinfecting the room, but I feel fine, and I guess I want to talk about not really the physical challenges, and more because you've heard a lot about that, and more about the emotional challenges of dealing with COVID, which I guess I haven't heard as much about.
What was that first moment like when you found out?
So she went and got a test, and she got like, the one that pokes the back of your brain. And she said it was wildly uncomfortable, but it was fine. If you need it, you shouldn't be afraid of it. It's weird. But she found out the next morning, and, we were freaked out. I was thinking, okay, I'm probably positive because I've been around her. I had to sleep on the couch that first night, which sucked. I don't have a pull-out bed. And then, but really what started happening is the next day already, she felt much better. And which was a huge relief. And over the next like day or two, she was like, yeah, I really like, it was one really bad day for her. And then she was fine. But I was then left with this terrible choice of like, okay, by being in this apartment, I might be exposing myself further, but I also should assume that I've already been exposed, so I can't go to a friend's house. But then also in about a week, she's gonna feel fine. In a day, she might feel fine, but I need to keep her in her bedroom because she can't be around me responsibly. And that was really quite stressful.
I'm sure it was really stressful worrying about like your own condition too.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, she was concerned. I can only really talk about my experience, but I know from her, she was dealing with, one, she was sick, and two, she had these horrible feelings of guilt of wondering, did I infect my boyfriend? Like, did I bring it home? It was a tough time for her. So ultimately, I made the decision to leave the house. She was feeling great. She could take care of herself. I thought that giving her the apartment would make her feel like a human. A friend of mine had an open unit in his building that was fully furnished, and they were kind enough to let me live here for 2 weeks. But then, about 2 days into living here, I started experiencing symptoms, and it felt like someone was choking me, like just that my windpipe was closing. I was experiencing shortness of breath throughout the entire day. And I went and got tested. I went to the Forum. They have this crazy parking lot where you drive through a cone maze. Actually, we were talking about Dave & Buster's earlier. You know the claw arm where they use that to pass pamphlets through the crack of your window.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they're just using whatever they got to make this happen. But it's really efficient, and you don't even get out of your car. They pass you a test, and you swab the inside of your mouth, 10 seconds each side, back of the throat. So I'm living for a couple days, convinced that I have it. I get the test back, and I was negative, which most people would be like, hooray! But I had this tailspin into this minor depression where I thought that I was positive, I was experiencing the symptoms, and I wanted to go home. So either I had what was a false negative, and I had to assume that I had to still behave as if I was positive and keep myself sequestered, but I couldn't go home. And then on the flip side, I was left with, it's very possible that all of this was psychosomatic, because as the partner of someone who was going through it, I was experiencing anxiety on a level that I don't think I've ever experienced in my adult life.
Yeah.
And the shortness of breath, it's possible that, look, I'm pretty damn convinced that I'm going to get the antibody test and whenever I can get it and show that I did have it and that I'm fortunate that I am feeling back to 100%. But it was a few days where it just felt like the world was crumbling in on me. And I know that Maggie had similar anxiety. My family had anxiety. Look, by the end of this, we're all going to have our COVID story, and I hope that yours is like mine, where it's just amounts to 2 weeks of emotional discomfort and separation. But that still is a lot. And it was... I guess the ultimate takeaway here, because, I could tell you all the details of what it was like, and I'm sure a lot of this is just repeating versions of stories that you've heard in the news, stories that you've heard from people around you, but I had to just give myself a week off. That's why I skipped one of our podcasts that we had. I stopped filming. Our company is built in a way that it could continue without me, which was great, but taking that week off is one of the best decisions that I've made in a long time. And if you need the space to just heal, even mentally, I cannot recommend it enough. It was so crucial. And now on the other side of it, I feel reinvigorated. I feel alive. I get to go home in 2 days, and I'm very excited. I can't wait to see Maggie. It was hard, and I wanted to share some of that.
If I may contextualize some of your story with this
Please.
comment, it's that you're going to look back on this as essentially what would be a successful handling of someone who had a positive diagnosis, and what that entails. And the first thing I think I remember texting when you were kind of experiencing anxiety was between two very intelligent people, one who works in healthcare and one who is literally immunosuppressed. You were going to always make the smart decision. And that's what you did. You made every intelligent decision to get to this point where you can go back and she's better. And you to get through that, though, to have those emotional moments where you have to confront your anxiety and assume the worst. I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway hearing this, is that it's not easy to be smart in these situations. Like, people are always like, oh, you guys are like, people are going crazy and they're assuming the worst. And it's those people that are being careful and taking the extra steps and having to deal with the emotional anxiety and oftentimes depression of realizing you have to separate yourself from loved ones. You have to contain this in any way possible, which also means sacrificing some of your personal liberties, whether it be emotional or even physical. At some point, that's the only way you can get to a point where you and Maggie now can get back together after 2 weeks of separation. It's one of those things where I think any alternative steps y'all might have taken, where you ignored it, where you stayed, where you denied it, where you didn't get
or
tested,
assumed that I had already caught it,
assumed you already caught it.
Right.
Those are the easier assumptions to have made, and undeniably those situations are the ones where it spreads further. So I really commend y'all for taking the sort of emotional gut punch in order to handle it the way that I think most people should consider approaching the situation if they were to know someone who got diagnosed. So, I mean, if anything, I only applaud y'all for what you were able to do with such a high amount of stress.
And I think it speaks to how isolating the whole virus and the experiences. You know, you read about it being isolating, but here it is where you're like your entire relationship, something that's very core to who you are and your happiness. It was split in two, and then for both of you, the person that had it and the person that's trying to protect themselves against it, it completely you're alone. You feel trapped. I mean, I think it's a really visceral firsthand account of how isolating it can be, and we're all feeling isolated, even just, you know, in our own houses with our loved ones, but then to be isolated beyond that, between a bedroom and a living room, or completely in a separate living area. I mean, it's this really like lonely, trapped feeling that is in addition to all of the horrible physical symptoms, really difficult emotionally.
It's certainly tough for everybody right now in the sense that we're like, you know, our lives are altered, but a lot of us can be happy that our lives are altered in a way that is just you're bored and unmotivated and maybe depressed about that, not you're scared. Because, you know, there's lots and lots of people, I mean, there are probably people listening to this too, who are scared. Like, Zach, you were scared. And, you know, I was scared a few weeks back for Becky's parents. And there's people who, you know, probably have kids who are immunosuppressed, and those parents are scared. We've heard stories of friends who, like, their parents skipped meals because they couldn't get groceries delivered for a week, and they wanted to be able to feed their kid over themselves. Like, there's some really scary situations because for some people, this is a very, you know, a life or death situation. So, you know, it's
I know
tough.
for most people, you know, 95% of the people, if that happened to your partner, you wouldn't have another place to go to. I only came here because I knew that it was open, it was furnished. I could come here without interacting with anybody or touching anything that other people would touch.
Like a keyless entry Airbnb type of thing?
Yeah, it's eye scan. So I got portaled up, sucked up a mnemonic tube. It was awesome.
Alien technology.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But, you know, if you could be separate rooms, separate bathrooms. You can, in theory, be in the same place. I just wanted to give Maggie that sense of being a human being again, and give her free range to, try and make bread and all the stuff that we're all doing.
I mean,
all the time.
let's show the people on YouTube a photo of this bread. I mean, she been on her own baking journey.
Holy fuck. Her first attempt was. I'll tell you that. Well, she lost her sense of. It's beautiful.
Holy shit.
She focused a lot on the scoring because she lost her sense of smell and taste.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares how this tastes? It looks gorgeous. There's leaf details.
I asked her how it was. She's like, I don't know, but it looks great. The last thing I guess I'll say on this, and by the way, thank you. That'll mean the world to her, Ned, coming from Ned's bread to Maggie. Well, the last thing I'll say is that as I was going through this stress, the anxiety attacks and worrying about my girlfriend, worrying about myself, and just all of it, that is when there were these protests in Long Beach and really all across the country, the Liberate Michigan and all this, and people saying that it was a hoax. Now, I know, look, part of this is people who are hurting and want to go back to work and have their livelihood. And for those people, I understand and I empathize. But the people who were out there saying that it was a hoax and that it wasn't something to be taken seriously, while I'm going through all of this, I had days where I had to scream into pillows. It was incredibly hurtful and insulting, and just fucking stupid.
It was so
but,
stupid.
I still keep hearing people close to me who are like, I think we're going to look back and see that this is not, it was kind of overblown. Guys, 50,000 people have died.
Yeah,
so
there's a million cases here.
I don't know how much. We'll get off of it. That's why we saved this for the end. We want this to be a nice, safe place and a comedy relief for you throughout the week. But I had to get this off my chest and share with you in some way. So thank you for giving me the space to do that.
Well, I mean, you've been playing so much Catan that you wrecked me last night. I'll tell you that much.
I have been
being anxious and depressed and isolated for a week lets you get up pretty good in those wheat harbors.
My takeaways here are to be like, if you know someone that's going through anything, like social interaction is so fucking crucial. Like I was talking to people throughout the day. Ned's referring to, I was playing Settlers of Catan with our friend Kelsey, basically nightly, just as like to have one social hour where my mind wasn't focused on my body and micro analyzing every feeling in my lungs. So that was really crucial for me, and I think aided in the mental recovery. And then being able to do stuff with Maggie, like we played games, we watched movies together, just anything to reach out through the void. So
I was a little offended though that I lent to you my copy of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you still haven't played it. I don't even know what's wrong with you. It is the great.
I forgot.
I don't even know.
Look,
I made a trip to your home and delivered you a video game in a bag so that you could play it, and you didn't even play it, and now I can't play it. I thought about playing it. I'm like, I'd like to play it actually, and now I can't.
Well, Zach, maybe you should just give it to Eugene.
Yeah,
and
bring
he
it full
can play
circle. I'm interested in this, so maybe you should go
He needs a Switch.
It is. When I was
Switch.
frantically packing and trying to figure out how to uproot my life entirely for an undisclosed amount of time while stressed out that I was infected and that my girlfriend was infected. You're right. I should have stopped and thought, man, I should bring Zelda with me.
Yes, it's the perfect escape.
Thank you for apologizing, Zach, but actions speak louder than words. Yeah. So, there's that.
Anyway, I'm so lost in life. I sure could use some help and guidance. And luckily, we have a guidance counselor right here. And he has advice that will go for miles. And now it's time for that segment with Miles. Bonsignore.
It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune it to your radio station. It's advice that'll go for miles. Everyone get ready. Miles Nation. Miles Nation, go! It's advice that'll go for miles. Okay,
So right now you're sitting in your homes, on your phones, or on your computers listening to the podcast, and you're like, wow, this is cool. But guess what? It's about to get cooler. We need every single one of you out there in the Miles Nation to rise up. Go to the Twitter and Instagram of the Try Guys and find the link, because we were just nominated for a Webby, and we need you to vote so we can conquer the world. That's right. You, me, Ned, Keith, Eugene, and Zach, all nominated for the best comedy podcast of the year, and it's all thanks to the Miles Nation for making it happen. Baby, we're making it to the top, and all it takes is one click. So go online and vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Webby Award for Best Comedy Podcast goes to Miles Bonsignore.
Wow, I never would have expected this. Please sit down. This is insane. I just want to thank the Miles Nation for helping me out, and a huge shout out to the Try Guys. Wow, thank you guess so much.
If I say I'll go for Miles.
What the fuck's up, Miles Nation?
Wow.
How's everybody freaking doing tonight?
Wow. That was wild.
Better now.
You know, I now hope that we lose.
Read a book, you stupid bitch. That's the advice. Read a book, you stupid bitch. No preamble. Get off your TV and read a book, you stupid bitch. Books are good for you. TV's bad for you. We've been doing a lot of TV. We've been doing a lot of video games. But you know what's better than both those things is reading a book, you stupid bitch. There's all types of books. Books have been around for fucking never.
For a little while, yeah, a little while.
Books have been around since forever. So if you want to get a story, you can read a book. My advice to you, here's a couple books. The Bible. I don't endorse it, but it's a book.
It's a book of books.
It's a book of a bunch of different books. Here's another one. The book the Social Network was based off of. I read that.
The Facebook.
The Facebook Social Network. It's called Accidental Billionaires. It was hot. I read The Martian. That was fun. I haven't read a book in about 9 months.
What about our book, Miles?
I didn't read. I looked at the pictures for our book.
Well, you know, you live it.
Yeah,
so.
I live the hidden power of fucking up. So
Miles, I feel like you could really get, into our deeper into our psyche and understand what makes us tick as people. It's a great way to understand your boss.
That's a good point. You know what? I'll pick it up. I think
it's mandatory, actually, as part of your workflow. I know you don't have a full 9 to 5 of work right now. Well, now you do.
Oh,
read
that's
that book.
good. Yeah, I'll schedule tomorrow on the iCal.
In fact, next week's advice that'll go for Miles, we'd like a book report on our book.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. I'm a Twitch affiliate now, so head on over.
Check out tryguys.com for all of your accessory needs. We're doing a lot of stuff where when you buy stuff, we donate to some people that need it. So you can check that all out on Twitter at tryguys.com as well. And then also, subscribe here, subscribe to the main channel. We got lots of good content. We're still doing 3 videos a week for now until forever. It feels like now, huh? I guess this is our new thing. So we're doing that. We're down to 1 podcast a week, but that's because maybe you'll have some more things to listen to this summer. Who knows? Spoilers? I don't know. But yeah, lots of good stuff. And until next time, Keith, hit us with the official TryPod theme song. Well, go to your bookshelf, pick out a book and open the book and read. And let your brain escape through reality and find some things you need. You could learn about birds or other things or people in other times. And when you finish the book, you put it back.
Until next time, stay beautiful.